You know, we don't identify ourselves as a Christian church. But there's not a person in here who doesn't have a perception or get a joy out of this thing we call Christmas. Each of us has a different perception, celebrate in a different way. It means a different thing. I didn't quite know what to call what I'm going to talk about today. Kind of took it off old Scrooge, the past, the present, and the future. But Christmas basically is the celebration of the birth of Jesus. There are several accounts of that. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John each have an accounting of that event. I like Luke. Luke interpreted the story he tells about this man, Jesus. It's from a little different perspective than Matthew and Mark and John. Because Luke was an outsider. He was a Gentile. The other three guys were Jewish. And he kind of took that story and interpreted it as like an outsider, as a misfit. And he tells the story of the life of Jesus as that Jesus was the man that focused his talks and his speaking to the regular folks, the folks that weren't in the little exclusive clubs of religion and government. They were the working folks, the fishermen, the sheep herders, farmers, carpenters. And what he did, to sum it up real fast, was to tell these just regular folks like us that there was a freedom in knowing the truth. And that freedom could free you from the enslavement of obedience and ignorance. At that time, the church was pretty powerful. They had the exclusive little hierarchy, and you could become a member of this, well, actually an associate member of the club, if you did exactly what they told you to do, how they told you to do it, and gave them money. And the governments at that time were just as an exclusive little group of folks that kind of ruled and got their way by force. They got their money off the backs of the poor folks, the working folks, and what they could steal from other countries and take from other countries. That was then. Isn't it great that that no longer exists now? And I think this fellow Jesus, I think he did a marvelous job. He did a really good job in talking to folks and telling them about how the truth could set them free. He did actually maybe too good of a job. They killed him. So his success was stifled. And too many times, they turned him into a martyr for their own purposes. So here we are today. How much has changed? There's something very different about today. Man's capacity to think and create has been expanded. We have marvelous technology today. We have marvelous inventions that make life perhaps easier. But I'm not sure all of these things that we have enrich our lives at all. And then we have something else. We have Google. And I've heard it said so many times that Google is the new God. And you know what? I think that's a very interesting metaphor. The experts tell us that we humans use about 8% of the capacity of our brains. Since the beginning of time, man has questioned, wondered, and examined and searched for the meaning, the definition, and to understand the unseen, God. The unseen energies, the unseen way things are all complexly put together. Well, this thing, Google, the internet, I think it puts people in a position where they can access, click on the icon, and you can instantly access this unseen thing that has a lot of data. It has information, any kind of information you want. This unseen thing that allows you to have a visual one-on-one with somebody halfway around the world in real time. It makes the unseen more, wrap your head around it-ish, more believable, more accessible, something that we can understand a little bit. But the only problem with Google, it doesn't necessarily enrich our lives. Its whole purpose is to generate revenues. It's a for-profit thing. Well, there's another unseen that is a not-for-profit. It is for enrichment. It is for freeing ourselves from ignorance and from obedience. It's that thing we call spirit, God, the divine, the unseen. And just maybe we can start thinking about our ability to access that not-for-profit unseen as easily and as often as we access Google, the for-profit unseen, that doesn't really enrich our lives. Who knows what the future of humanity is going to be, what the future of Christmas is going to be. But I think as we progress, just perhaps we might be able to expand that 8% capacity that we use of our brains. We have the potential of increasing our creativity by 10 times. We have the potential of being able to increase our ability to understand the unseen, to access the unseen, by 10 times. Maybe as we evolve as beings, maybe the importance of profit, the importance of things, the importance of jobs, the importance of economy will fall by the wayside. Maybe our future is to expand the capacities of these brains that we've been given, to think. You know, there are people walking this earth right now that are using more than that 8%. There are people who can actually have enough mind control to levitate things, to move things. There are people who are clairvoyant. There are people who have the ability to think and reason and create way beyond average. All of us have that capacity. As we sit here Sunday after Sunday, may each of us use that freeing gift, use our brains, expand our awareness, expand our capacity to create, expand on the abilities that we have to show compassion and caring, acceptance. May we be able to understand more of the mystery, the complexity of this unseen nonprofit that can enrich life in every facet. Spirit. I said a few weeks ago that Jesus was one of the first transcendentalists. I think I'm standing in a room full of transcendentalists. We can transcend all the old conditioning. We can transcend these old beliefs. We can transcend our habits. We can transcend our addictions. We have the capacity to enrich our lives, each one of us individually. Christmas. We give to each other. Perhaps we could each give ourselves a gift of expansion of our thought, expansion of our awareness, expansion of understanding, and not only enrich our own lives, but the lives of everyone around us. Christmas. It's the light that does away, that enlightens the darkness. As we sing about this babe, the message that he gave to humanity, we can give that same message. Merry Christmas.